News out of the NBA yesterday. As I'm sure you've heard, Giannis Antetokounmpo agreed to a supermax extension in Milwaukee. His agent telling Woj it'll be the full 5-year, $228 million supermax. It includes an opt-out after the 4th year. And Giannis had this message for his fans after the announcement.
What up, Bucks fans? This is Giannis, the Greek freak. I'm excited for today. Big day today. I'll be here in Milwaukee for the next 5 years. This is my home, this is my city. I'm excited to be a part of this organization. I'm excited to go to war with my teammate. I'm excited to walk around this city. And it's been amazing, man. It's been amazing, and the show goes on, and let's get it.
All right, our Malika Andrews is with us here. She has a profile on Giannis that you can check out right now on ESPN+. And Malika, he had until Monday, this coming Monday, to make this decision. How did this come about yesterday?
Well, Greeny, we've always known that Giannis loves the city of Milwaukee, right? What he was weighing is, did he see potential to win it all in this window? Because after covering Giannis for 3 years, I've come to understand that really, besides his family, the only thing most important to him is succeeding, is winning on the basketball court. And so that's what he was weighing. But ultimately, his loyalty combined with conversations with his agent, Alex Saratzis, and then looking at the Bucks' offseason moves led him to look around and say, you know what, this is where I want to be. I want to announce that the show is going to go on.
Oh, look, this is about the most important thing that could happen to this franchise in anyone's imagination. So what was the reaction within the Bucks yesterday?
Oh, I mean, sheer joy, Greeny. Could you imagine anything else, right? I was sent a photo from someone within the Bucks offices yesterday of champagne flutes and bottles of champagne waiting for him to sign his actual contract. I was texted gifs of people wiping sweat off of their brows, of throwing confetti into the air. They are excited to be keeping this superstar. Because it came down to a little bit closer to the deadline, some people were looking around like, hey, what's going to happen here? But now maybe he can finally put those pens that Chris Middleton and his teammates gave him to some use.
Okay, so we have one of our 2 big NBA storylines settled. We know what Giannis is going to do. Now we have to figure out what James Harden is going to do. He played last night. What is the latest on Harden and his desire to get out of Houston?
Well, that hasn't changed, Greeny. Tim McMahon and Adrian Wojnarowski have reported most recently that Philadelphia continues to be somewhere that James Harden has circled, but there hasn't necessarily been any extreme movement on that front. Tim McMahon has a great story up on ESPN.com this morning detailing that inside the Rockets culture, it can be summed up as, quote, whatever James wants. And that includes this. He is used to getting his way within the organization, Tim McMahon reported, and that has been they considered good business to keep him happy and help the franchise, but his desire to be traded hasn't changed, and he's used to getting what he wants from this franchise.
All right, we'll see. Obviously, these are totally different circumstances, because if he gets what he wants, he won't be a part of the franchise anymore. Malika, again, the piece is up on ESPN Plus right now about Giannis. Thank you very much. Meanwhile, let me get up and go through some of the other NBA storylines. Luka Doncic has separated himself from Giannis. He has emerged as a clear favorite to win the NBA's MVP award. The two opened as co-favorites, but since then, Doncic has become the solo favorite at plus 400. Elsewhere, Lakers coach Frank Vogel said yesterday that LeBron James and Anthony Davis will play in tonight's preseason game against the Suns. It'll be their first NBA action since winning the championship 2 months ago. And then
i.e. Anthony Davis in New Orleans, James Harden right now with the remaining 2 years left on his contract with the Houston Rockets trying to get out. So I think the real question is, what is the window of opportunity for the Bucks to get to the NBA Finals? Getting to the NBA Finals, I think, is pivotal for this franchise, considering that Giannis has only been to the conference finals once, and that's when they lost to the Raptors 2 years ago.
Well, look, here's what I would say. You said, wait for this, listen to those numbers, Jay. I didn't need to listen to those numbers, right? Because it's clean and simple when you talk about $228 million over a 5-year period. You know, one of the things that you said that kind of caught my attention there was they'll be able to recruit. And you know, the NBA is interesting because certain guys you'll be able to recruit to areas like a Milwaukee small market teams. I think a lot of the things that they're going to have to do, even with a Giannis, is via the trades, draft guys. Make sure you develop those type of players into the type of players that you can get that want to be around Giannis long term and make a push to get to the Eastern Conference Final, to get to the NBA championship, because otherwise to go out there and think you're going to get one of these top 10 players to move from a big city to a small market to play with Giannis, they got a short window to be able to do that. And much like you said, he signs a 5-year deal. Yeah, it's not really a 5-year deal. It's I'm going to secure the bag and I'm going to wait and see what we do over the next couple years before I really lose my confidence in the organization and the city, so to speak. And now I got to look to move to go to another place so that I can wind up trying to win a championship. You know, you don't pass on $228 million when you're 27 years old. You just don't do that in this world, this climate, where anything could happen. You could walk outside and it could be a rock. You could slip and fall. Now it's a whole nother conversation that you will be having with the team. So smart move by him. Smart move by the Milwaukee Bucks to figure out how to get it done. Now let's see if you can go out there and create something with magical while you have Giannis under contract.
And now, I will say this, Keegan, to their credit, Zubin, that they did bring on Drew Holiday. They let go of Eric Bledsoe and George Hill in a deal to get Drew Holiday to the Milwaukee Bucks. They were able to sign a couple of complimentary pieces, even though I think they let go of a lot of their depth on their bench. So the question is with, look, if we're saying that Giannis is like a skinny Shaq, right? He shot 58% from the free throw line in the postseason. So scouting report is out on Giannis on how to beat him in the playoffs. You form a wall. We saw Miami do that last year in the second round of the playoffs, right? That's what Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler, they were talking trash about how they understand how to beat him. So if he's a skinny version of Shaq, who is his Kobe Bryant? Who is his Dwayne Wade? Is that Chris Middleton, Key? Is he going to be the guy that rises or elevates his game to be that closer down the stretch? Is that going to be Drew Holiday? I think we're going to need to see who becomes the clutch closer in game situations other than Giannis, considering that he struggles at the free throw line and he doesn't really shoot the mid-range, and teams know how to guard him, especially in the Eastern Conference where you got Kevin Durant and Kyrie playing on the same team. And I think they are still the favorite right now, even though Milwaukee will be probably 1 or 2. They'll be kind of going back and forth between that ranking in the Eastern Conference.
Chris Middleton did show up to a degree in the playoffs. I got to, you got when Giannis was missing in action, he did kind of step up. I don't know if you could compare him to some of those names, the Dwayne Wades, the Kobe Bryants, the Penny Hardaways when Shaq was young and down in Orlando. I don't know that you could compare him to that. I think having Drew Holiday there certainly helps the situation and lifts some of the pressure off of Chris Middleton. But even with that being said, when you go up and down the coast, you go all the way from Boston, you come down to Philadelphia, and in between you have the Brooklyn Nets. That's a lot. And we haven't even gotten all the way to Miami. And the way that they feel, I know a lot of people feel like, okay, Miami kind of backdoored into a championship run, but they still got there. And believe me, they feel like they can get back there again. So it's just a matter of what will Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton bring to the table.
And fellas, we should quickly mention, besides the money, what was the rationale for Giannis staying in Milwaukee? Well, he certainly feels indebted. He grew up in Greece, but as Woj explains, now he's a Milwaukee man.